You mentioned an accident. What was that?
I haven't shared this part of the story. So when I traveled, first I went to Bangkok and I'd booked like travel insurance and was in Bangkok for about a month. And then that expired. So I was like, I've never needed it. I'm not going to renew.
Oh, no.
So from there, I flew to Bali and I met this dude in Bangkok and randomly ran into him in Bali. And he was like, hey, I'm going there too. How are you getting there? I'm like, I'm going to go take a bus. He's like, I'm just driving on a bike. Just sit behind me. I'm like, okay, sounds smart. So it's literally like him, his backpack, me, my backpack. We're driving and we're almost there. And like he makes a turn and the bike just slips. I fall off. And then I get up and I'm like, okay, I'm okay. And then I try and like do this, trying to get my hand to my shoulder and it doesn't get there. Like, oh crap, I've dislocated my shoulder. That was the accident. And I'm in a country where I don't know anyone. I didn't even have a hotel room booked where we went that night.
Yeah.
It's like that wasn't there. And I was like, okay, what do I do?
With no insurance whatsoever.
No insurance. So all of these people came to help. And it was funny. One guy took me to this clinic and I remember I took off my t-shirt so they could like look. I had 2 bags, one with clothes, one with my like laptop and stuff. So they're like, okay, this is bad. We're going to take you to the hospital. So I left my bag with the clothes there. Just have my laptop bag with me and they drive me to the hospital. We get to the hospital and they're like, oh yeah, the doctor's like 2 hours away. I'm sitting there like waiting for the doctor. And once the doctor comes, they're like, it's going to be like $2,000 or something. Cause they're just like kid from the US.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have insurance. So I'm literally negotiating with them there.
This is where the sales comes in.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm not going to pay $2,000 and I know you guys are overcharging me. And that other person who had driven with me, he comes to me and goes, dude, you don't need to do this. Just come outside, put your hand over a chair and I'll just not get back in.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I finally like negotiated them down a bit. And then like they put me under anesthesia. I got back up and it was back and I think maybe he talked to them or something, or maybe they just had pity, and so they charged me a little less than that. So I think it was like $500 or $1,000, which still I think they were overcharging me. Mm-hmm. But we finally get out of there at 1, and then he's like, "All right, you want to head back?" I'm like, "Cool," and I have to sit back on that bike. I'm like, "Oh man," sit back on the bike. He took me to this like hotel I knew about. And literally, like at 1 a.m., I go in there, book a hotel room, and crash. And the next morning I wake up, I'm like, oh, I don't have my clothes. So I go back to that clinic we had gone to and like, then they're like, oh yeah, it's going to be this much. What the hell? And so I'm on the phone with the guy who runs the clinic and they go like, being like, you guys are overcharging me. He literally goes, he's like, I'm going to call the cops. I'm like, no, don't do that. And finally like agreed to an amount, got my backpack because it was still there. And finally that was done.
So trial by fire with the whole negotiation.